Yo, what's up guys? So today we're going to be showcasing off the new Uria build for 2020 using the new angel statue Azurune. So let's go ahead and hop right into the gameplay. So, starting off, this is the new card that we're basically highlighting, which makes Uria a lot more powerful coming into the next formats over here. Uria has always been one of those decks where a lot of people really like it. However, it only gets to get a boost from those continuous trap cards for the bonus effect. However, most of the best trap cards in the game, things like Impermanence, things like the Solemns, they're not going to be continuous, but Azurune over here is continuous. It has negations and it can go ahead and also potentially be able to get rid of your opponent's problematic cards, because it is also a trap monster that has the effect where when this card in the monster zone is destroyed by battle, you can destroy the monster that destroyed this card. So you have abilities to go ahead and be a little bit more aggressive, as most of these kind of builds with Uria usually have to rely on things that have been obsolete. I'm talking Gravity Bind, things that just don't really see play in 2020. To be actually a little bit more relevant, you have to play some of the newer cards. Things like Fiendish Chain, kind of gotten outclassed, but it's still a fantastic card, especially if you run the Sacred Beast to go ahead and recycle it when you play like a more Sacred Beast oriented deck. But this is all about Uria. This is the new Uria build. So once again, this card is very powerful because again, it acts as a monster that has the ability to send a continuous trap that's in the monster zone to go ahead and stop a special summon or summons. So if they special summon multiple things at the same time, you can destroy multiple of them with just the Azurune's effect over here. So you'll see Metal Reflex Slime to go ahead and use as tribute fodder, or technically it sends it, it's not tributing it, but it's just having the fodder to go ahead and activate its effect so you can get rid of your opponent's plays. Now this guy had Reborn, so he got a little bit unlucky with that, but don't worry, the Uria player will be getting stronger and stronger. Remember, every single continuous trap is more extra attack for Uria over here. And I've always liked the Sacred Beast, but when you mix in the Sacred Beast, it's really difficult to mix in Uria. He's got to be kind of a standalone because he requires a lot of these cards to be able to maybe one-shot OTK your opponent over here. But we still have a Fog Blade over here just kind of lingering up on the board. Reasoning activate over here. It's going to go ahead and declare it 2. So he's going to go ahead and get a lot of cards potentially in the graveyard. Excellent card. That and Monster Gate are great for Uria builds. And then you'll see the Uria coming at 8,000 attack. He's going to go ahead and get Fog Blade, but the Unending Nightmare is going to go ahead and be able to go ahead and disrupt that. Remember, he can't attack because of the Dark Summoning Beast the same turn, but that's okay because Uria has 8,000 attack. And on top of that, every single turn, Uria is going to start destroying the back row over and over again, and your opponent can't activate anything in response. And because we don't really need the extra cards like Extravagance are great for this deck, there are a few cards that I could recommend. Just in general, the Nightmare cards are great. Also, Gustav Max can be a card that you can use in Uria as well, just in case you need to burn your opponent for the last set of damage with, like, let's say Metal Reflex Slime, or you can go Superior Door, or whatever the case. Anything in like rank 10 trains, basically, that you would play. You could consider it, although with Extravagance you might banish it, but that's part of using Extravagance, but it is worth it over here. So you see there's a Stingray and there's also Fiendish Chain over here in background. So he's basically got extra negations, and Stingray over here, it's just another trap monster again. It lets you push for some damage, but it also acts as a body just so you can go ahead and utilize that effect of the Azurune over here. So there can only be one, basically wins games on its own, but on top of that, he's got multiple monsters now. So he's got, on top of that, he's got Fiendish Chain, so he has multiple negates with, again, Azurune being able to go ahead and send those continuous monsters. Now, Phantom Knights don't go down very easy, especially like the Pure variant. Heck, even in the Phantom Knight Burning Abyss decks, that deck just, it lingers for a long time. It's very difficult to get rid of. I mean, you can see he's gone through so many cards in his entire deck, but Uria is just going to be able to pop all the back. Remember, they can't activate spell and trap cards to this effects activation, so he can't respond to it, which is unfortunate for him. But again, there's pretty much no outs to this at this point. I mean, he's got a negate over here with the Fiendish Chain, unless he had like Raigeki, which it would be a card that I think that would disrupt this, but no one's really playing Raigeki at this point. I mean, maybe Lightning Storm could be a card that could maybe disrupt this, but again, it's going to be a real rough scenario for most decks to deal with this. Remember, he's got 3 monsters over here that he can utilize, and on top of that, he's got just Uriah's just a big attacker, and it can pop all the back row once per turn, and they can't really do anything about it. And then he's got a Phoenix Chain to follow up, and he's got Monster Gate over here. So it was really cool to see someone make great use out of Azurune, because at first when I saw this card, I was like, what deck is going to play this Trap Monster deck? But it actually helps out Uriah specifically so good. And Human Destroyer, big shout outs to him for building a really cool deck. But now that you guys have seen it in action, let's go ahead and hop right into the deck profile. So hopping right into the deck profile over here, here's what we're looking at for the deck. So obviously, it's an Uria deck. We gotta play 3 copies of Uria. We have the Dark Summoning Beast over here, and basically a bunch of stuff to go ahead and get them out, like Monster Gate. We also have the Armageddon Knight to go ahead and act as kind of a foolish burial, so to speak. You can also throw that in here as well. But yeah, you can see they have triple Monster Gate, they have triple Extravagance, we've got Reasoning, triple copies of Duality. You really need to start digging into your deck for those specific cards. And then we have 3 copies of the Statue of Anguish pattern. This card's actually great too, because once you go ahead, it says if this card is special summoned from your spell and trap zone to a monster zone while this card is a monster, you can target a card on the field and pop it. So you have a little bit more disruption. This was something that was activated earlier on in the duel as well. There can only be one as fantastic, like Lockout, Goes in Rivalry, like those kinds of plays where you're able to go ahead and stop your opponent from getting, you know, any of their like link plays or synchro plays. Sometimes these are great to have as well. Then we have Fogblade, fantastic card as well. You can actually use this to stall quite a bit if you want to. You can even, it's just targeting one effect monster in the field, and the great thing is that it cannot attack, but also monsters can't target that card for an attack, so you can use it to stall quite a bit. Then we have Metal Reflex Slime over here, and we also have the Egyptian God Slime, which is pretty cool. And then we've got, and the Band Played On. Again, this is basically to disrupt your opponent from really going off with any plays. 3 copies of Phoenix Chain. It's just another negation card. It has been outclassed by other cards like Impermanence, but specifically in Uria, we need those continuous, because remember, it's going to get 1,000 per each continuous trap card in our graveyard. And then we have Unending Nightmare. So this card actually acts as 2 different things. So obviously you can get rid of your opponent's stuff, but you can also sometimes get rid of your own stuff that maybe has already gotten its use out of, like maybe Fogblade is completely useless. Maybe you need that extra damage when they attack into your Uria, and you just want to go and pop something so you can go ahead and actually get that Uria to higher attack than your opponent. So that's a fantastic card as well for that. And also it's just good to get rid of back row. Uria does a good job of it too, but sometimes you just need to get rid of other cards, and then maybe you can force negations out of your opponent as well. Then we have Stung over here. It's just another trap monster. It's not going to be something that's super important. I actually really like Embodiment of Apophis a lot as well. This card is, there's actually another one where it's actually Zoma, not that one. Zoma's the one I wanted to mention. So if this card is summoned this way, is destroyed by battle. So if you summon it, it has 1800 attack. You get to inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack monster destroyed. So you can actually get some more value out of Zoma than, I mean, Stingray technically has an additional set of attack. It's 100 more attack. The level really doesn't matter for the most part, unless you were going to try to like link summon or go for something that specifically, or more so synchro summoning or exceed summoning that requires like a very specific level. You're not really using it for that. I just think the extra burn damage can be kind of nice, because sometimes Uria gets up to like, you know, several thousand attack, but if you just had an extra like 2,000 damage earlier on, you would have won the game. So you could consider Zoma, as he just adds a little bit more than just like, you know, 100 attack. And then the card that makes everything possible with the new updated list, Azurune. This is a new card over here. And then for the extra deck, these are some of the cards that the guy was playing over here. But I think that you can definitely consider Gustav Max. Let me go and go over cards that I could recommend for any of you guys that are playing this deck. Because I wanted to give it to you guys as it was originally made. But I think Gustav Max could be a good card to consider as well. And then I mentioned before the Nightmare cards, so cards like Phoenix and Cerberus are always kind of good to have. But I would also consider running Gustav, and then also Dora can be really good. Maybe you just got to Uria really fast, and then you have that Metal Reflex Slime ready to go, but like you just don't have the amount that you need over here. So Superior Dora is a fantastic card. It's able to have massive amount of defense, good amount of attack, and then it can go ahead and also protect itself. So this could be a fantastic addition to this deck. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts on the Uria deck. Is there anything that you guys would add or remove in this deck? Obviously, cards, again, like Impermanence and Ash Blossoms are great, but the problem is that it's not a continuous, and if you want to build an Uria deck, I feel like we just got to focus in on having more of those continuous trap cards, which again, this card Azurune really helps out the deck. But anyways, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. And if you guys want to download it, I'll also include it via the Discord. If you guys want to download it, the YDK file will be there available for you guys as well. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new here, make sure you guys are subscribed with that bell notification on if you want to catch more cool and innovative Yu-Gi-Oh decks like the Uria one. Or if you guys want to send me other replays of really cool builds, feel free to go and do so at azneyesreplays@gmail.com and you get featured on the channel. But once again, shoutouts to Human over here for building the really cool deck. And I'll catch you in the next video. Have a good one. I'm signing out. Peace.